Right, okay. I think we are live. Let me just check. So this is the Fast Track FBA weekly YouTube live. I'm trying to get myself set up on the camera. So 2 seconds, let me just check now. So I'm just going to quickly check onto Facebook, make sure we are live. If you are here, do just drop a comment down below and obviously let me know. So just going to check. So I hope everyone's had a great Christmas. Our sales have gone whoom. And I'll just share. Again, look at that. That's a graph that I posted today with someone else. Look at that. You can just see sales going down. We sold more on Christmas Day than we did on Christmas Eve. Very, very interesting. So definitely gone down. But if you've got any questions, do let me know. I'll also share with what's kind of coming up with me and what's going on. So yeah, we're live on the USA group. Just going to check YouTube. Get it right, Tom. And also, if you've got any questions, anything I can help you with, drop it in the comments down below. Or if you're just joining, say hi. Give me a big hello. How's your Christmas been? How's your Christmas sales? Are you smashing it right now, or is it actually quiet for you? And I know a lot of people have been quite worried about this actually because sales have really declined for a lot of them. So that's just something to think about. Give me 2 seconds. Ask me anything. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube. Brilliant. That's cool. Just want to make sure that is actually working. So obviously you are here. Do join me. Let me know. Coffee is super, super important. Amit has said, hi, Thomas. Hi, Amit. Let me know if you guys have got questions, drop them down below. But I'll give you kind of a bit of an update. Merry Christmas. Yeah, hey, Merry Christmas to you too. I hope you had a wonderful time. I'm here with my my family and really enjoying it, actually. So you can just check my audio. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So if you've got questions, drop them down below. Drop your questions down below. That's cool. Drop your questions down below in the comments. Should probably say that in the comments. But I'll kind of give you a bit of an update on me. So I kind of just shared there a screenshot. So like I'll kind of share it there. You can, okay, get it right, Tom. You can kind of see it went up. It's kind of gone up really well. And this is like Christmas Day here, this top one here. So it's kind of the weeks, and then obviously kind of right down again for Christmas Day. So it's been a really good month. We've been really happy with it. But what we have seen is obviously that probably around like the 22nd, just started getting down off a cliff. Christmas Eve was the worst day, and then it came back up again. So Christmas Day picked up. Today, I'm reasonably happy where we are. If we can do more than 8K a day for the rest of the month, I'm going to be super happy. Obviously, we're so close to the £1 million mark over Q4, so close. But that's it has been a long slog. It's been an absolutely long slog to get there. So I think what I will say, guys, is obviously let me know down below what you're doing, how you're getting on. But obviously, I can talk about my January plans. But I see some people have already put some questions in, so I'm going to jump onto them already. So, first things first, Christelle May, Rockstar Amazon Seller VA. Categories to focus on for Q1. First of all, thank you very much for joining, and thank you for asking the question. I hope you had a great Christmas. Categories for Q1. Look, Q1's a really good. Q1's a bit of a two-part exercise. January is actually quite a decent month. Amazon lit £50 million Amazon sellers. They said January is their third best-selling month. I don't know if that's a fact, and same with me, but I think it does kind of give you an idea that even from a buying and selling perspective, January is actually pretty decent. Number two is you get February and March. They're typically very challenging months. They are, because everyone kind of spent all the money in Christmas, then they buy deals in January, and then they don't even bother. Like February's like, no, not at all. So you generally tend to see February is a bit horrible, and then March is quite still challenging, and then you kind of Q2 like, okay, we've got a bit of money now. So what do I think about? So generally speaking, you're okay. There's a lot of sales going on, but a couple of things that people talk about, like, or if you say we look at. A lot of people look at healthy exercise for January. So like health and personal care, your sports equipment, indoor sports equipment generally works well. Obviously, unless where you are, as in the US, for example, you've got good weather, but it's kind of like indoor, like weights, yoga mats. Everyone's trying to get healthy, trying to get fit. They've eaten too much, so gym exercise goes up. Also, people do like DIY and stuff, which is quite interesting. They buy things. But still, like your health and beauty, toys and games do still work. Like they generally work fine. The one thing you can kind of think about is if you can get it right, buying like chocolates ready for Valentine's Day in February can be a very advantageous point, but don't go too crazy, because obviously if you get caught with the wrong one, bang. But if you make branded chocolates, you'll do well. And then March, I think you're coming up towards, like, there's not really anything really. You're like towards Easter, but that's later on. So there's nothing particular that I'd really focus on. The only thing I might look at is like sports equipment and like health and personal care in Q1. That's it. But there are lots of sales. And the one thing I will say is I've seen this time and time again. There are a lot of people who are buying products in January sales, massive discounts, like they're proper summer products ready for the kind of like the summer. So what do? Well, they've made loads of money in December. They then buy like your rubber dinghies, the camping equipment, dirt cheap in January in the sales. But you buy it and then you hold on to it. So if you haven't got a team, if you've got warehouse and storage, you can do that. It does work quite well. So I do see that. But hey, great question. Hope that answers. Let me know in the comments down below. IL come in. Thanks for joining, by the way. IL. Hi Tom. When there's a reconciliation issue with an FBA shipment, i.e. Amazon lost item, shall I send in a support case after 60 days? How can I prove to Amazon how many items in particular? Okay, so top thing. I think it's 30 days, or the moment it comes reconciliation closed, they close the thing, you can then ask them to investigate. While it's still open, they don't do it. Two things. Number one is just make sure whenever you're doing any shipments, the weights are correct. Why? Because what they're going to do is, you say you ship 10 items which weigh 1 kilogram each, they're going to go, let's look at the box weight. Is it 10 kilogram plus maybe like 100 grams to the box? If it is, okay, now it matches up. But if the weight doesn't match up with what the contents are, they're going to be like, well, you never shipped them in the first place. So always make sure you get the weight correct. Number two, when you do send the case, send in all supporting invoices for the products you've purchased. You can obviously remove all the pricing, black it out, that's fine, but do send it in. So definitely send in a case the moment you can. Two things: add up the box weights, explain that to Amazon. Then number two is send in the supporting invoices to show that you actually purchased the items you said that weren't shipped. And that should be enough, and they'll pretty much come back to you. The only other thing which I might say is if they do kind of reimburse you cash wise, check the reimbursement amount and then check it versus what you paid, and don't hesitate to put in your invoices to say, hey, I don't think the reimbursement amount is enough for what I paid for it. This isn't right, and challenge it. Sometimes they reimburse too low, but I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below. And thanks for the question. English with me, thanks for joining. I had an experience where a listing didn't require a request. Then I got the listing and the brand complained about me, made an IP claim. I'm selling fake goods. Okay. This is I see this one. We get this one quite a lot. I assume you probably bought it from a good supplier. Let's call it Boots, Argos, whatever, doesn't matter. But so long as it's legitimate supply chain and you can get an invoice. Now, if you have, don't worry. So generally speaking, we get off all the time. Supplier says they're fake. You're like, yeah, whatever. You think we're going to get off the listing because you think we're selling fakes. We're not selling legit products. So what we do is we just go back to Amazon and say, hey, they said they're fake. Here's the actual invoice, not the delivery note or anything like that. It's got to be the invoice from Argos. And then obviously what will happen is they will then remove the IP complaint. Look, the next step is up to you whether you want to continue selling on listing. If you don't, generally speaking, we'll probably get off the listings because the brand owner is just causing problems, and they'll come back with another IP complaint with something else, and we might not be able to remove it. So take it as a word of warning. You can get them removed, but send in your invoice, and that will get rid of the fake. Also, as well, you talked about it didn't request. So even regardless of IP complaints, you can have listings whereby today it's fine to sell, and then tomorrow you're gated. Amazon do gate listings as well. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below if that's helped you out. Let's kind of jump through. Thanks for the questions today, guys. Normally I'm like waiting around, but today like on fire. Right, shipments. My prep handler sends orders across different shipments. Yeah, so you're coming back to this. How can I prove down? Well, for each individual shipment, you're going to have the box rate correct. And let's say, for example, you bought 10 items and 3 were sent in one shipment, 4 in the other. Send the same invoice for both of them. If it's the 4 one that's missing, cool, you ordered 10. There's the invoice. You wouldn't have the invoices to match the shipment correctly. What Amazon want to see is that did you actually buy the number of goods that you said you shipped in? That's it. So pretty much there. Let's go from so you just posted that one again. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, cool. All answered. IL. Let me know down below if that's helpful. Amit has said, do you sell products which Amazon also sells? Yeah, I do. I don't know the stats. Don't get me wrong, we try and avoid it, but we don't always. I think it's between about 10 and 20%. Don't quote me, don't quote me. But I know we certainly do. We are on listings where Amazon's on. And also as well, when Amazon come on a listing and we're like, we're not getting the buy box, we will just crash the price, get the hell out of there and move on. There's no point sitting on stock that doesn't sell. That's called just wasting, throwing your money down the drain. So yeah, we do it. Irfan said, could you tell me about some good wholesale distributors? Irfan, I'm going to tell you now, if I had some good wholesale distributors for you, number one, if I had good wholesale distributors, number one, I probably wouldn't want to share them because I want to use them myself. Number two, if I did share them, you probably wouldn't want me to share them on a live, because right now there's like 14 people watching. All 14 would get them and they'd all go look at it. What would they do? They'd all find the same products and then they'd all just buy the same products and then the price would crash. And so all of a sudden that wholesaler would not be any good. And then number three, if you're going out there and buying lists of wholesalers, I probably wouldn't do it. Like I really wouldn't. A top couple of tips, and I learned it from a couple of people who I've met in real life. Amazon Lit being one. So many interesting people. Is I probably just think find something that you're interested in, that you understand, and then number two is the fact that go looking for people who sell that brand, that product. Obviously find the product on Amazon. Hopefully Amazon aren't selling it, and then there's not too much competition, good stable history, fantastic, get involved. Go find them. The reason, and use Google, I don't know, I've got like some road mic things, so I'd be like, you can't do road, but I'd search like road wholesaler UK and the road distributor road UK, and I try and contact them all. I'd even contact Road Direct and ask for their distributors and manufacturers, like, hey, I want to buy some of your product. Is there a minimum order quantity from you, or can I get it from a distributor? I'm just looking for those avenues, and the reason is what you're trying to do. You're trying to find suppliers that no one else knows about. So do that. Honestly, I promise you that. We're going to start wholesale this year, and we're really going to be looking for brands that people don't know, and the wholesale. And the reason also as well you want wholesalers that no one else knows about is that if a wholesaler is dealing with 20 other Amazon sellers, well, you're just an Amazon seller. But if a wholesaler isn't dealing with like any or maybe one or two Amazon sellers, and you come in and then you do a great bit of work, you work with them, you really help build their business and thing, then you say, hey guys, I'd like to work with you as a wholesaler exclusively. Can I buy my deals through you? And that wholesaler's going to go, well, you know what, I like you guys. I'll work with you. I'll kick the other two off. They can't buy from me anymore. Now you get a bit more exclusivity on the listing. So the less knowledge people have about your suppliers, the better in wholesale. Hope that makes sense. Amit, do you just make or do online arbitrage, also retail arbitrage? I have really small profits retail, 8 7. Do you think this is normal? So we do 2 million. We've done 2 million so far this year, like 2.2, I think, which I'm really, really happy about. Purely online arbitrage. Right now, yes, I'm in the UK, but I will be back in Mexico in about a week and a half's time, and that's where I live most of the year round. So that's it. In regards to you talk about small profits, like 8 to 10%. You just got to be mindful. Like we probably net out around about 20% gross profits around about 20, and then 10 we come in under 10. So net coming into 10. And I think for you the question is it's an interesting game, because I could be here forever discussing the ins and outs of the pros and cons of volume versus margin. And the one thing which I will say is retail arbitrage, you should generally have. Sorry, I thought I found something. You should generally have higher margins. So maybe it's about holding stock. But then the other one is to say that have higher margins because you're buying at a cheaper price, i.e. people can't buy as well. And then number two is the fact that for you, when you think about like all your profits you make from the sales on Amazon, if you're quite small, your seller account, your repricer, your petrol, your fuel, all the other bits and bobs, they're going to make up a high proportion of the costs you've got to do. So even with like retail arbitrage, if you're doing small revenues, it's going to be a challenge. And I'll say it to people, like, try and get yourself as close as you can to the VAT threshold. And if I talk about monthly, $8,000 a month, if you do, I think it's $8,000 a month. There's 85,000 in the UK, £8,000 a month. If you can do that, fantastic. That's going to the closer you get to that in revenue per month, you're going to maximize profits. Also, cashback, airtime rewards, link them to your card, all these little things, they all add up massively. Cashback credit cards, my God, we use Amex, really, really helps out. So 8 to 10%, if that's net, it's okay, but I think you can do a lot better. Again, look at your product mix, look at holding, and also all the little extra things. And also as well, just look at how much revenue you're doing. I hope that makes sense. How much do you think average overall profit would be with online retail arbitrage? Again, depending on revenue. Dan, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. I did a video with Dan Gilmore. That was it. Dan Gilmore did it. He did just below the VAT threshold, like 84,000 a year. He was probably making, I think, £25,000 net profit per year. So just below, that was a bit of retail and a bit of online. That's probably the pinnacle of where you want to be if you're below the VAT threshold. If you're above the VAT threshold, my God, even like us, talking 7%, you sit there and you go 2 million. 2 million times in 1 year times 0.07, you're giving out £140,000. Not bad. I'll take 140,000. And you could do better in 7%. I have a big team, don't really do much work. So, I hope that makes sense. Hey, Tom, how important is replens in the OAFBA business? How fast can someone scale their OA business? I think replens are really important. If I give you a statistic, and I'm going to need to be very careful about this. Number one, what is replenishable? In my business, we classify replenishable as any ASIN, Amazon product, that we have bought more than that we have previously brought in the last 12 months. So if I were to buy like this road product, if I were to buy it, last October, and then it's not available, again, like it's out of stock or the price is too high or whatever, but today in December the 27th is now the right price and everything works, and I buy it again, well, I would classify that as a replenishable. So what am I saying? Well, it's replenishable. I bought it in October and I bought it again in January. I didn't buy it between, even if I had no stock and even if I wanted to buy it, I didn't buy it. But because I've bought it again, it's now classified as replenishable. And the reason why I say that is because it's going to be very likely a lot of time you might not have continuous supply. That makes sense. If you want that, go to wholesale. That's not even guaranteed. Then the next one is to say that, so once we define what I classify as replenishable, it's any product that I've previously bought within the last year. Statistics-wise, about 80 to 85% of all my purchases every single week are, or my team's purchases, sorry, not me, my team are replenishables, i.e. we bought them before, so very, very important. Now, if you want, and how fast can someone scale their business? I think, I'm not going to sit here and just like, shop it, like I show you my graph. That's 2.3 million. You can see that there. And the reason why I show you that graph is the fact that that's growing up and up and up and up, and you can definitely do it. That was like 50,000 up to 400,000 now. And I won't lie, like that was a hard work, a lot of team, also a lot of money. We got Amazon loans and that. So it might be that our staffing, our capital right now is way more than what you've got, but it doesn't mean you can't get capital along the journey. Amazon do give loans. So can you scale your own? How fast? Yeah, well, we went from like 60K in January up to 400K today. And that's this month so far. So I think you can grow it really well. Hope that makes sense. Right, carry on. Thanks. On the reconciliation issue, if I purchase some items and they were split across several shipments to my prep center and then again on the way to Amazon, how can I prove them right? Get all the invoices. Say, for example, if I bought road and I bought 10 of them, but I bought them in 10 single individual orders, but I've still got 10 invoices. Go get 10 invoices and then give all 10 invoices to Amazon. Make it very crystal clear, highlight the invoice number on each one of them, send them to Amazon and say, and I'm guessing you put them all in the same shipment, for example, and then Amazon only checked in 5. You go, hey, Amazon, here's 10 invoices for 10 road wires. And I told you I shipped 10, the weights add up, and you've only checked in 5. You can see I bought 10. Here are the order numbers and how many orders in each quantity. Like, make it very obvious. The guy doesn't have time to check what you imply. You have to like, order number done, order quantity 1, and then add them up for them. Total ordered 10, across 10 invoices, total shipped 10, total received by Amazon 5. Please find the other 5. Yeah, you can do it. Just send in multiple invoices. Adam's doing a big smiley face, no problem. Ifran's saying thank you very much. Hey, Ifran, glad we could help. Riza, hi Tom. Always great content, appreciate. Fantastic. Honestly, glad I can help. No, thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm getting hard times when I'm sending emails to brands in the UK to get products for retail arbitrage. I think that's a bit contradictory. Generally speaking, retail arbitrage, you're going into store to buy products. Now, you might be talking about like online arbitrage, but if you are messaging brands directly, that's called you're going into the wholesale domain. That is different. I'm just going to so you're probably going to do it. I'm going to just jump a question. I will come back. I usually get a full page of questions about my business, and I'm just starting hard to fulfill the requirements. What do you recommend? Well, if you're going into store, you don't need to email brands. Just like Get your Amazon Seller Central app out, start scanning stuff, and see what it comes up with. If you're doing it online, again, use like a tool like SAS, for example. And then if you're doing if you do want to go down wholesale, you can start with brands, not a problem. You might find it easier just to get started with wholesalers. And top tip for you, just need to get some sales going. I could really recommend that. Riz, if you can just drop me a question, any more comments down below, like kind of what you're struggling with, because your original comment, you're emailing brands, but you're doing retail arbitrage. That isn't normal. I don't understand why you're emailing brands doing retail arbitrage. If you could explain that, that'd be great. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's carry on. Walid, hi Tom, hope you're doing well. In which bank account can I open an account in the USA? I'm a resident of France, Amazon, of course. If you want to, we use Mercury. So try Mercury. No guarantee. That's the easiest one, I reckon. You don't need to physically be there. They work. Mercury, really good. I quite like them. They're great. They've been very useful. Hope that makes sense. Walid, drop down below yes or no. Ali, what do you advise to newbies who are skeptical about wholesale UK being oversaturated? What's your take on the market? Is it saturated or oversaturated? Or they'll be saying, "Well, I have no idea, mate. I don't do wholesale UK. We're going to start in it, but I don't do it, so I can't tell you the answer." But I think the real question I would ask you is, two things. I think look, I'm not a big player in Amazon at all. I just kind of do a lot on online arbitrage, and obviously I'm a bit vocal, so do this. But I'm going into it, and I wouldn't, and I've been in the Amazon game for 4 years, and I know a bit about e-commerce. I don't think I'd be going into the wholesale game if I didn't think there was value to be doing it. And I'm going into the wholesale game in the UK. The other one, which I'd say is a really good stat, listen for you, is look at Amazon UK's revenue growth over the last 5 years. Number two, take about half of it, that'll be third-party sellers. Then I reckon at least half of that again will be from your wholesale, not your private label, not your arbitrage, not your OA or RA. It will be wholesalers. Why? Because they just do FMCG, they're doing volume. So what you can probably see is that the revenue growth in third-party sellers is going up, or Amazon's going up, everything else is going up, and they'll see the proportion of that growth is third-party sellers, of which the bulk will be wholesalers. So I think you'd be fine. Like, I wouldn't go into it if I think it was a dying market. You talk about oversaturation, I go find something a bit nichey, like do some bundling or something. Of course, it's going to be more saturated than it was 10 years ago, but the market's growing, so that might make sense. I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments down below, Ali. Ismail. Okay, I have 2 listings of the same ASIN in my venture with different quantities. Is this normal? That's fine. Yeah, because you've got different SKUs. Look at the SKU. The SKU will probably be different. You can do that. We do it whereby it'll be like, obviously it's a really bad example, but it might be like Rode Mic SC11 _ expiry date Tuesday. Rode Mic, another one will be Rode Mic SC11 _ expiry date Wednesday. That would be the SKU. And because we've got 2 SKUs, we'll have two listings. It's fine. Amazon said it's fine. Honestly, I've asked them multiple times that you can do that. Next question. Yes, you're right. Actually doing wholesale arbitrage. Okay, so let's just be really, really crystal, Riza. I would really recommend not using the word arbitrage. Just call it I'm doing Amazon wholesale. That's it. Whenever you're doing your searching, talking, call it Amazon wholesale. The moment you start talking about Amazon wholesale, you're like, it starts confusing because you're blending models. It's like, yeah, so I'm thinking about doing like private label, but with wholesale products, and I'm going to be buying through arbitrage and retail, online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, and also wholesalers, distributors, and manufacturers. You're like, I don't know what you're doing, like simplify. So just when you're talking, no disrespect, but I hope, but the reason is when you communicate, it just makes it easier for people to understand. So when we're coming back, yeah, just the manufacturer, what do you think? When you speak to manufacturers, they're going to want a lot of information. It might just be interesting to say, hey, look, I'm interested by this product. Can you recommend a distributor or wholesaler? That's it. And then see where they'll give you a list, and then go for that. So I think that'd be helpful. Or type in the name of the brand, Rode and wholesale, into Google and find that. When you go to manufacturer direct, they're going to ask you a lot of questions, a lot of stuff, and it's going to be a lot more challenging because they're a lot more selective. But if you go to the wholesaler, they'll just be like, yeah, fill out the form, done. Then you can start buying. So no guarantee. Of course, you're going to get the best price in the manufacturer, but also you're going to have to buy bulk, and they're going to ask you a lot more questions. So maybe start with wholesalers. That'd be my advice. You won't get the best margin, but it'll get you into the process. Adam, I watched your last video on cashback cards. I also thought of a new addition for you and probably didn't mention it, but Boots use a Boots card too, an extra 4%. E.g. Boots, use a Boots card too. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Really interesting point. So we don't shop at Boots. We can't get enough volume out of them. When you're spending like nearly 100,000 a week, it's not enough. But we have just got like another Amex card. So like we'll use cashback sites, Amex, we'll use airtime rewards on top of that. And I think that's about it. Yeah, there's no other kind of stacking we do. Obviously voucher codes if they're available. But I do agree with you. Like, here's my point. If you can get Boots orders going through and you can have a Boots card, fantastic, do it. Like, yeah, really, really do it. And that 4% will add up. But I do just think like, again, it's got to work for you. For us, we just can't get the volume. But thank you for sharing. Honestly, really, really good. Thank you for sharing. Amit said, Thomas, can you please share your first month on Amazon? Did you also have a problem while sending and finding new products? How's the situation? Did you find new products? There's a YouTube video I shared, which is called like, I'll tell you what you should watch. There's a YouTube video about my first 6 months of selling on Amazon USA. Which is very relevant because we did OA and we did it this year, whereas my first month of Amazon UK was 4 years ago, which I don't think is a very good comparison. And also as well, my knowledge back then was very different. So if you want to see where you could be, the USA would be a better version. So long story short, we didn't have problems shipping stuff in. Finding new products, not really. You can use like lead services. We did use Fast Track FBA leads for a while, and so you can look at them as well. And we hired VAs to do that, but I'm not saying you should hire them straight away. But the products are out there. Lots of people are doing them. Selling products, not so much. A top tip for you I'd really recommend is there's a video about seller board and getting reviews for free, how to get seller reviews so you can up your metrics. Check that out. It's on my YouTube channel. I did that. And also the situation's changed. I think the only real thing, to be honest, I don't think it's really changed that much. If anything, selling on Amazon's gotten easier. The only thing which has changed slightly is the restock limits, but the volume that we do is a bit more high volume, so it works fine. The other thing which I would probably say is you do account verification, which we didn't do when I first started, like the video interview. And then the final one, which I would say actually is gating. Gating was a bit of a pain. So my team had to go out and find products that they couldn't normally find. So what we want to do is we really want to think about, for you, my top tip is either go down the wholesale route, look at wholesalers to ungate, or do what we did. We got to about 7,000 in revenue pretty quick, and we just got automatically ungated in anything we really tried in. So now we don't really have any problems. We've never done wholesale ungating. It's always been automatic auto ungating. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's it. That's the only things I can really say. Check out that though. We did about 100, I think it was 100,000, 140,000 in the first 6 months. Admittedly, there's a lot of cash in there as well. So I hope that makes sense. Adam, do you use any third-party service in addition to FBA, e.g. for eBay? No, we thought about it, but you know what, like, no, I'm just a big believer in do one thing and do it really well. And Amazon's working really well. We've got a really good model. And when you act like, when I meet other people who are doing eBay and other platforms, I ask them what's the percentage revenue, and they say like maybe up to about 10%. They always say Amazon's the biggest one. Number two, I ask them how much profit you're making from it, and they're like, we make a little, but it's not really that much. So then my next question comes is like, do I want to spend a lot of time, effort, trying to manage a whole new platform that really isn't going to make me any profit? And a lot of people come back here, we pretty much break even, like we make it just like it just covers its costs. It really isn't that good. And I'm like, it's just not worth it. Like I do generally believe I couldn't have got where I've got to today if I diversified into another platform, i.e. like eBay. So what we did instead is we grew the Amazon business as fast as we can, and then we moved over to the USA and did it again there. So I generally believe that you can use things like Zoe Lister, I think it is Joey Lister. That's it. To link your Amazon account to eBay and then ship it from Amazon to eBay when you do it. I'm not sure if it's still within terms of service for eBay. I don't sell on eBay. Check it out. Simply like shipping reference numbers. But I do think, generally speaking, like just focus on one thing. Do that. Really, simplicity is key, and that is powerful as well. Jack of all trades, master of none gets paid way less than someone who is like a brain surgeon. They know one thing very, very well and they can do it perfectly. So become an expert in the one field. That's what I think. So let me know, Adam, if that's helpful down below. So Amit said, mostly happened to me like X product in Amazon, price €20, manufacturer price 13, €14, and from online websites, could not get a profit. Yeah, I think, Amit, you're just going to have to keep finding more products. I hate to say it. Obviously, you're doing Euro. I hope you're not trying to ship into the UK from Europe. That'd be like good luck. You just got to find better prices. That's it. You are right. If I give you a statistic, you're going to hear like people out there on the forums and everything going, "Oh yeah, I can find lots of deals. Like there's so many deals out there right now." Like that's because they're happy to share that, and they are, to them, they're finding a lot of deals. And it could be that they're finding normally 2 deals and today they found 10. Fantastic. But as a general rule of thumb, from a VA full time, what do we look for? Well, we look for like 5 to 8 deals. That's it. So 5 to 8 deals in month 2, and then month 1 is 2 to 5 deals per day that we can buy, by the way, not found. And then month 2 is 5 to 8 deals that we can buy, and then month 3 is like 8 to 12 deals. So kind of use that as an analysis. And by the way, these guys are working 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and their jobs depend on it. So that kind of gives you an idea of how many you should be finding. 30% ROI, €3 profit, for example. I hope that makes sense. Ismail, I have sent a shipment a month ago without labeling and instructed Amazon to do it for a fee, but now it shows it's closed. Shipment of 1 out of 20 received. Raise a case, mate. You got to raise a case. You got to find out what's going on. That's it. Yeah, you got to raise a case. Ask them to investigate. That's it. That's all I can recommend. This is annoying, but welcome to the wonderful world of Amazon. Amit, do you suggest you use ScamPower, or which programs we should use for comparing prices with Amazon online websites? No, do it manually. Honestly, my God, I have I don't know, in my Amazon business, 8, 9 VAs who just manually do it all. We don't use any tactical arbitrage, any of that. We just do it manually, and we still manage to do, like 400K in a month. Honestly, you can do it. They do exist. They work. Riza, I'd like to work with 3PO in England as they sell there. I'm just going to move this because you guys, I'm kind of like stuck there, so I'm a bit better now. I'd like to work with 3PO in the UK as I will sell there, but I'm not living there. I'd like to check my inventory online and just fill the order on Amazon. Yeah, you can do that. That's what I do. I live in Mexico. Not a problem. Just find a 3PL company. There's some YouTube videos like top prep centers, I think. Yeah, in my channel, you'll find them, like UK ones, no problem. Riza, do you recommend any company? Look at Fastpack FBA. I know Dan Gibbs, the owner of that, he's taking a lot. We Prep FBA have done pretty well as well. Check out those two, Fastpack FBA and We Prep FBA. Yeah, cool. Next up, English with me. Can Amazon suspect the seller is buying my inventory and threaten me? Can Amazon suspect the seller is buying it? That's not letting him report him, despite him going his Amazon. They don't ban him. He even mentions lawyers. I don't really understand what you're saying. Amazon don't suspect anything. Long story short, if you as a seller, top tip, if you as a seller complain about any other seller on a listing that you're selling, generally Amazon just I don't think they really do anything about it. Like they're not really interested. And also there's a conflict of interest because you seek to gain from someone else. So you've got to be very mindful. If someone who isn't related to you, never logged in on your account, i.e. like a friend down the road over there somewhere, if they go online and complain about that seller on the listing, then as a buyer, Amazon will probably care. But as a seller, they don't really care. And if a seller is buying your inventory, then the only thing I'd probably recommend is just put quantity limits on, like limit to quantity 1 or 2 or something. So that's the way you can do it. But unfortunately, you can't do anything. If someone wants to buy, 100 of your items, sit on it and then cancel, 100 items, sit on it and cancel, 100 items, sit on it and cancel, they can do that. It's up to they're allowed to do that. I know it's awful, but it's just that is allowed. I'm sorry about that. You just got to see what if you can find a reason why it's against terms of service and raise that to Amazon, that's fine. But you have to find where exactly that is against policy. That makes sense. Adam, very useful, makes sense. Cool, glad I could help Adam. And Adam said, Hublo, third-party logistics. I can recommend. Hubo. Sorry, see that right, Tom? Hubo. That's cool. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for sharing. Guys, if you've got questions, drop them down below. Honestly, I am here to answer your questions. I do need some more coffee in a minute. Definitely, I'll finish this and go down like 2 pints of coffee. Let me know if you like coffee. And also, let me know how your Christmas sales are going. I'm really interested. Mine just like dropped. Did anyone actually have a good Christmas day? Like, did it go really good? Or even how Q4, how are you looking? So let's go through. Caitlin, what is the best software that you can recommend for researching products? Yeah, this thing, like this thing. I'm not gonna lie. This thing. And I know you might think I'm being like patronizing. I'm not. I'm really not. Like, if I give you an example, let's say for example tomorrow you buy if you can buy, let's say tactical arbitrage. Tactical arbitrage, you go into Argos or Walmart, doesn't really matter. When you click scan and you get some results, fantastic. And it says, well, hey, you can buy this SC Rode mic here for $10 and resell it over here for 20. And you're like, wow, that's a great deal. You know what? You might be like, buy it for 10, sell it for 50. Wow, it's even better. Like the margin on that is incredible. ROI, insane, triple digits. But the interesting thing is that you've just found that, and anyone else who's using software has probably found the same deal as well. Now, the problem about software sourcing, outside of like calculators, like anything which sources software, is if you can find it, so can everyone else. And as a result, what they're all going to do is they're going to buy that great deal. And now all of a sudden, that great deal that was buying for 10, sell for 50, will now buy for 10, sell for 15, which are no longer so great. So just be very, very careful of sourcing software. I'd say that. And I think, my top tip for you is this, the sourcing tools, SaaS we really like that. That's cool. The other ones, the calculators, which are great for researching products. By the way, I'm talking arbitrage here and wholesale. We don't do private label. So when you like researching private label, I don't know about that. People use like Helium 10 and Jungle Scout. So Buybot Pro, SaaS, FBA Multi-Tool, Ace and Zen, RevSeller. And I think if, Ace and Zen is probably the biggest one in the US. And, I think it's kind of like Buybot Pro is the biggest in the UK. But it's up to you. Like, try them all. They all have free trials. Use them. They're really good. So I hope that makes sense. Caitlin, let me know in the comments down below if that's answered your question, or if I misunderstand something. So Amit, how many different products do you sell right now? I think about 900 different active SKUs. It does change, it's quite a lot, but obviously you've got a lot in stock. So Amit, how many are you selling? Let me ask that question. Let me know down in the comments below. So how many active SKUs are you getting in Seller Central right now? So Facebook user, I'm like coffee. Oh, she said, I like coffee. I'm guessing I can keep women up all night. Ha, okay. Well, obviously you like coffee. I like coffee, so it can keep me up all night as well. So Adam said, very quiet Xmas Day. Glad it wasn't just me. Yeah, actually, Christmas Eve was the worst day. Xmas Day we sold a little bit more, not much. Christmas Eve was like, is this it? I think this is Q4 done. We're going to miss our target, but it's coming back up, and I'm pretty happy. What are we on now? So 7,000 today. So 7,000 so far. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Happy with that. Next one. I finally made a live session. Well, hey, let me know if you got any questions. Obviously, there's no point joining a live if you haven't got any questions. Or like, see, what's the reason? Why did you come? What can I help you with? So thank you for joining, by the way. Caitlin says, thank you. It did make a lot of sense. Fantastic. Good. Honestly, I'm glad I can help. Guys, if you've got questions, do drop them down below. Obviously, I'm here I spend this time with you. This is it. Obviously, I release lots of videos, lots of content. It's all very kind of one way. These lives, I really, really want it to be a Q&A session. I'm not really looking for it to be me like talking about stuff. Like if you want to ask me questions, I'll answer them, but that's the whole point. I want to come here and help you guys. So ask your questions, I'll be helpful. So let's kind of jump through. Obviously you've got questions, ask me. Otherwise I'll just kind of talk about coffee or something. So Facebook user, sales will pick up but die down New Year's Eve looking at seller board last year. Yeah, I agree. I'm just honestly, we're so close. It's like we're going, if you don't know, right now we're going for the £1 million over Q4, and we're so close. Like it's going down to the wire. It's like, oh my God. And I reckon we'll finish on like 999,000. I'll be like, next year, let's try. But hey, you gotta try. It's all about goals. But hey, I tried to do 1 million in 18 months. Now we're trying to do it in 3. Big difference. But hey, yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting. I hope New Year's Eve has a bit of sales. We'll see. Amit, thank you for sharing, by the way, Facebook user. So, Amit, thank you for the question. Thank you for the question, Thomas. I sell 5 products on Germany, Amazon, and I guess you misunderstood me about retail arbitrage. Different. I try and buy. Yeah, so you're not doing retail arbitrage. You're doing wholesale. So top tip for you: when you talk about arbitrage, yeah, don't talk about arbitrage. Call it wholesale. You're doing the wholesale model. And that just makes it clearer for people to understand. My top tip for you is find more products. That's it. Each of those 5 products are really going to sell a certain amount, and if Q4 gets busy, then that amount might increase a bit more, but it's not going to go from like 5 a month to 5,000. It'll go from 5 to like 10. Double sales. Fantastic. It could go up to 50. Fantastic. But you're not going to go too much. Sell more. For us, that's one of the big things we really understand about driving our business forward. Just more products out the door, but also increased range as well. So, Zachary, I'm really sorry. No, Zachary, no, sorry, I'm really bad with names. The question is, can you please mention the best platform to find products again? So it's not platform to find products. I'm talking about calculators, i.e. tools that help you. The best platform to find products is called your brain, and doing it manually. I promise you that. There's a reason why people make money. Go to the Fast Track FBA YouTube channel, go to playlists, and then look at sourcing 101. We do lots of different sourcing techniques. Learn those, and then use the following calculators, and I'll explain the calculators we talk about now. So generally in the US, the primary ones that we kind of see, the Ace and Zen, RevSeller. Also people use Buybot Pro. Most people use Ace and Zen in the US. It doesn't really matter. You can use all 5 of these. You only want one, by the way. Any of the 5 will work. So the 5 are Ace and Zen, RevSeller, Buybot Pro, SAS, and FBA Multi-Tool. We've got all 5. We don't need all 5. We just use them because of testing. You can use any one of them. They all have free trials. Use the free trials. In the UK, I think Buybot Pro is probably the biggest. But again, Buybot Pro, SAS, FBA Multi-Tool, Ace and Zen, RevSeller, they will all work. So do try them. Use the free tools. Hope that makes sense. English with me. Does your service help find you and make? Does your service help you and find manufacturers to offer deal? No, we don't. Unfortunately, we don't do that. Our service is OA. So literally, our service will show you. You can buy this product today, SC11, from Walmart or any retail store online, and we'll send you a link to that. And then you can resell it on Amazon for more expensive. It doesn't say you can find this Rode SC11 mic thing from this wholesaler or distributor or manufacturer because they got a good deal on. We don't do that. That's wholesale, so we don't do that. So good question though. Hope that makes sense. Facebook user, I'd sell stuff at a loss the next few days just to do a million in Q4 if it was me. Long as still profit. Well, don't get me wrong, still profits. Yeah, we never deny that. Still, really, I'm really happy with the profits. Like really, really happy. Yeah, very, very nice. But I do think, I get your point, but then it's vanity metrics, and I'm just very mindful of that. We sold some products at a loss just to bump up the sale so we could reach the £1 million mark. It's like, I get you. I don't know. Maybe we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping we don't need to get that bad. So Amit said wholesale. Yes, you are right. Cool. Yeah, talk about wholesale. Don't use the word arbitrage. Avoid the word arbitrage. I know it is wholesale arbitrage. I get you right. Just don't use it because it confuses a lot of people, like me, because maybe I'm stupid. Facebook user. Then I can say we did $1 million in Q4. Bam. Yeah, damn right. I can wear it as a big badge of honor. $1 million in Q4. Plaster it everywhere. Maybe do some maybe I can go hire a Lamborghini and be like, hey guys, if you want to do $1 million in Q4 and you want to drive the Lamborghini, which is just a hire car, by the way, no, I would do that. Aston Martin, I quite like Astons, but never driven one, but I'd like to. But hey, I'm waffling on enough. Amit said, but Thomas, how you make profit even when you buy from websites, second and third seller? I buy direct from brands. Ooh, interesting. A really good point. Top thing, I do make profit. So please don't think I don't make profit. But let me ask you a quick question. You're buying from, let's go for example, you're buying Lego. You're buying Lego from Lego. You're not really going to. I think it's like $1 million you've got to buy minimum pounds, but you buy Lego from Lego. Now you are you, and you're buying some products, and maybe you want to spend like £10,000. Great. Well, they might give you Lego at like one price. But then what, and okay, we get a bit of a discount for the normal price. Well done, but it's not like huge. And then another company comes in called Walmart, and they want to buy not £10,000, they want to buy £100 million worth of Lego. And they're going to get such a discount of buying that directly from Lego, you would never get that discount. Now, what do Walmart do? Well, Walmart go, well, we've got all this Lego now. You know what we're going to do? We're going to sell it as a loss leader. We're going to sell it at cost in our stores so that people come in and buy Lego, and then they go and buy a turkey and they buy some alcohol and buy some other stuff. So then what happens is, well, little old Tom comes in, maybe online, finds this Lego at cost at the price they paid for it, way cheaper than you paid for it, and then obviously I buy it and resell it. So just in that one example, because of the buying power of the big retail markets who do buy direct from brands and they pass that saving on to us, you can find it works. And generally speaking, unless you're buying big bulks from brands, you'll find a lot of the more faster selling items, OA will actually be cheaper than wholesale. Why? Because we're leveraging the power of the big brands to buy. But our problem comes is we can't buy enough volume, or we can't keep supplying. That's where wholesale has an advantage. They can get more volume, they can keep supplying longer term. So there's pros and cons to both models, but we can definitely make profit, and that's a good example of why. Hope that makes sense, Amit. English with me. To buy wholesale inventory in the UK, do they need that as a requirement like Boots and Tesco asked this? So Boots and Tesco are retailers, not wholesalers. So Boots and Tesco wouldn't ask for it. If you are going to buy from a wholesaler, for example, I don't know, what are they called? Another one, Jones's Wholesale, for example. I know they're in Northamptonshire. They won't ask. They'd expect you to have a VAT number, because it's quite normal. If you're doing wholesale, you'd have a VAT number, because you'd definitely breach the 85,000. But they wouldn't not sell to you if you didn't. But obviously, you're going to lose a lot of money because you're paying the VAT, and VAT is basically a tax which gets passed down to the end consumer. But you'll be paying that, so which you don't really want to be doing. So most of the time, they'd expect you to have one, but they wouldn't stop. So I hope that makes sense. Amit, do you suggest products that sell price more than €20? Yeah, I do. I think our average sale price is about £23. Yeah, it makes it easier. Although some people do wholesale with their own warehouse, they'll do very low value items, call them like $5, $8, $10, £10. That works. Again, understand your model, see what you want to do. I've got 11 minutes, guys. Any more questions, drop them down below. So, Amit, briefly, how many hours a day actually do your team spend searching for a product, and what is their target to reach each week, and how many new products in a week? Interesting. Just be careful what your definition of what you're trying to achieve. I spend like nothing. We have 8 sources working 40 hours a week, maybe 9 sources working 40 hours a week. And by the way, they're just sourcing. They're not buying. We have other people who do the buying. We have other people who do the admin, so you can do the math. Not as I call it, like 360 hours a week we spend sourcing. Target is to do a minimum of, I think it's 1,333 spend, £1,333 spend per week. But my best sourcer can probably I think her record is £30,000 in 1 week we spent on her deals. Again, they're just sourcing, not buying. And you talk about how many new products in a week. We don't care about new products. We just care about spend. That's it. We're not looking at new products, replenishable thing. We're like replenishables, new products, anything, don't really care. Put it all together, give me a spend result. That's what I want you to focus on, that spend. So that's what we do. And I think the average is probably between like 5 and 10, 5 and 15 per VA per week in spend. If you're going to spend, call it 10 grand, you spend 10 grand a week from one VA. He's working 40 hours, which is a nice result. I'd take that. After a year, you might be able to get that. Call it, if you're going to even just run at 20% ROI, so 10 grand at 20% ROI, you're going to make gross profits. So including prep fees, by the way, about 2 grand per week from that VA. That's quite nice. So yeah, I'd be happy with that. So it's about 8 grand a month. 4 times 2, 8 grand a month gross profits. Then you've got to take out your fixed costs, so like your tools, their costs, their bonuses, etc., etc. But I put my gross figures include prep. Walid, hi again. Concerning the flip Amazon to Amazon, can I order to my address the same? Yeah, we used to do it. Look, long story short, there is no official guidance from Amazon. The only thing we understand that you can't do is you cannot buy from Amazon using Prime delivery options and resell it. That is against Prime's terms of service. So you can't do that. So top tip for you, have an Amazon selling account with Prime and then create another buying account with non-prime, you're not subscribed, and then buy through that. That just removes anything, because sometimes when you're trying to buy the deals, you can't not select the non-prime. There is only prime. There is no other option. And the net result is if you buy it through prime and try and resell it, Amazon can suspend your buying account, and they could also suspend your selling account as well. So be mindful. The only other thing also as well, and we learned this from our own experience because we used to do a lot of them, probably like 20 grand a month in revenue, is don't create multiple buying accounts to try and get around the maximum order quantity of 3. They will detect it, they'll figure it out, and they'll shut you down. We had them shut down. They said if you, and interesting enough, I researched the email address that it came from once we got shut down on those accounts. We didn't get shut down, sorry, they cancelled the orders. But when the order, I checked the email address because I'd never seen it before, and then also I'd seen that other people had they'd done it as well, and the same email address had shared that to them. Hi, you've done this multiple times now. We're now going to ban you from buying, and if you've got any associated accounts, we'll ban them, and they lost the seller account. So I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I've seen it in forums. Just don't try and circumvent the minimum order quantities. And then number 2 is do it through a non-prime account. Hope that makes sense. But the address is fine. No problem with that. Facebook, why? That's why wholesalers can't always beat UK big companies in prices. You're damn right. They all, most of the time, your Boots, your Argoses, your Walmarts, they're buying much bigger volumes than your wholesalers will. And interesting enough, those, and I know from the IT space, we have what's known as manufacturer, like Hewlett Packard, for example. They have what's known as distributors, and they have like 4 or 5 authorized distributors. They are the only people who can sell. If you want to buy from Samsung direct, like you can't. Samsung will just push you back to the distributor unless you're buying like insane volumes. But once you go to the distributors have it. What is it? It's like they have certain agreements in place that they can't sell. They have to do certain things. It's quite, the supply chain can be quite tightly controlled. And what you can see is actually, if you go to the retail side and buy directly from like Walmart, it works out cheaper than going to even like the manufacturer or the distributors direct. So it is quite common. So I hope that makes sense. Facebook user, do you have any tips about sourcing at this time of year with sales values being inflated for the past couple of months due to Christmas? Yeah, top tip, go get on Keeper, click on 1 year, go back last year. That's what you're looking at. I would also, just for you, it's up to you. You call it inflated. I think for you is look at that Keeper chart, that buy box price. So go back last year. Is it what you're really looking at last year in January? What's the sales rank and what's going on with it? Is it still selling? That's the important thing. Then number 2 is go back and look at the 1 year buy box price. And if you're seeing the buy box price comes up over December, cool. Well, you might look at what it was from like, call it October before, and then take that as your new selling price. Because if it goes back to that, then you're like, well, it's okay, it's not a problem. But obviously you're going to remove the kind of peak pricing in December. That will kind of help you out. So that will be my top tip there. I think it's quite simple. Just go back to last year's data and try and remove that data from December. That will kind of help you out. Guys, if you've got any more questions, I've got like a couple more minutes to drop any questions down below. Otherwise, I will be finishing at 4 o'clock on the dot. But also, I'm back in the UK next week. We do have no live. There is no live next Monday. No live, and that's because I'm going to be on an aeroplane flying back to Mexico. So no live next Monday, but we'll resume service as normal the following month. Or the following month, following week. So no live. So a couple more questions. Mr. T. Clapson. Hey, Terry. Happy Christmas, Tom, and congrats on your year. Thank you so much. Have you started planning for Easter yet? Planning for Easter? Ooh. I'm doing strategic. We've done strategic plans for this year. We know revenue-wise what we want to do and what the plans are, so that's really good. But yeah, like there's a lot to do. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be an amazing year. There's a lot of opportunity, and I'm very, very excited. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you, and happy Christmas to you. And obviously, I hope your year was really good, and you've had a really good year. And I think the next question is, someone asked me this question. They were like, Tom, what advice would you have for someone who's just finishing year 1 going into year 2? Now, I will say this to all of you, regardless of whether you are in your journey on Amazon or anything, is go back in your mind to where you were this time last year. No, actually, first things first, look back over the last year, think about what's happened, think about what you've learned, what's happened. Now, Now then, pretend you go back to this time last year and you could give yourself some advice for the year ahead that you've now just lived. So you're going back to December 2020 and you're about to go live the whole next year. What advice would you give yourself knowing what has happened? Now, what's really interesting is now knowing that advice you've given yourself a year, take that advice again and apply it to this year. And it will probably do the same things. Focus, don't get distracted, have a goal. Go all in. Like you're like, oh my god, we did well, but I could have done so much more. And I think that's one of the big takeaways I learned from this year is we had a goal. I did the £1 million challenge. It was really, really successful, and I was really happy with it. Smashed all the goals. There were many times when I was hiring, promoting, doing things, taking on Amazon loans that I was like, is this all going to fail? Like, is this going to come down a big house of cards? Even like recording the video. But I'm really glad. I'm really glad. And I look at my 50,000 up to 400,000 in a month. Is absolutely incredible. And I'm just like, well, if we can achieve that in a month, and I didn't even think we could do 1 million in a year, and we're now looking to do 1 million in 3 months. I didn't think we'd do 1 million in 18 months. And now we're looking to do it in 3 months. It's to say, well, if I can do that in 3 months, what's going to happen next year? Is it going to be like, the goal for next Q4 is like we're going to do 1 million in December? Like that'd be fucking incredible. Like what I wanted to do 2 years ago in 18 months, I'm now doing in 1 month. That's just like next level. So go back or reflect on the year, what's happened, think about what advice you give yourself, and then apply that advice now going forward. I think it's some really good advice there. So Facebook user, thanks. Sonny, is it enough to source? Is it enough to software like SAS, or do you have Keeper sourcing? SAS has got like a Keeper like graph. They're exactly the same data, same underlying data. I know the developer. It's all the same data. You can get it from Keeper. So you can just use SAS if you want. Just try that. Really good. Just make sure you click out to the 1 year. Really helpful. Someone said, what if they cancel the flights? What would you do? Well, wait for the next one. It's all right. It's fine. They can rebook me on the next flight. I'll book a hotel down in Heathrow and see what happens. It'll be fine. What about next one? So you said you give your VAs a target of £1,000 a week for purchases. So if I'm new, I'm not sure I can afford a VA. This is a good case to go by. If you're new, I really wouldn't recommend getting a VA, which is obviously I do a VA service. So I think that's take that as like I'm not trying to sell you or anything. I think it's useful, but I think you need to understand the model first. Do the model. So number one is I think if I were to say my goal for you is we talk about a minimum of £1,000 a week in spend from a VA on the deals. So if you're going to look at you should be spending, I'd probably looking at £1,000, £2,000 a week minimum you want to be spending. So set yourself a target, call it £2,000 a week, bang, hit that 1 week, and then once you've hit it, say, cool, let's spend another £500. Next week, how can I get to spend 2,500? That's a really good way of thinking about it. So maybe 1,000, then 1,000. 1,500 and then 2,000 and 2,500. Keep increasing it. When you get to wow, I've got £4,000 in the bank every single week for the whole month, and I'm not spending it. What's going on? It's money I'm wasting. Then come talk to me about a VA. That would be a good place, and we give you lots of support. So I hope that makes sense. Amit said, "Do you sell electronics products?" Probably. Yeah, we sell a lot. 900 products. I don't know what we sell. I really don't. My team do it all. What if you receive returns? Of course we do. You can't repair or send about where you buy them. No. So long story short is Amazon. We probably have like a 2.53% return rate. Now, what you got to realize is Amazon will check them, and if they can send them back out, that's great. So that's going to reduce it down. Then number two, some of them get returned back to the warehouse, and then the warehouse might do they deal with all our unfillables. So they might, they'll inspect them, and be like, we can resell that on eBay. That can go back into Amazon, or this is rubbish. This is just broken, or someone's swapped it. So what will happen then is the case that for us, we'll just destroy it. There's a loss. My God, if you sold 20 of these, let's say I killed 200 of them and one of them broke, will I start getting my pants up and go, oh my God, one broke, oh, I want my money back? No, you'd be like, it's all right, we made the money from the other 199, don't worry. It's just the cost of doing business. I hope that makes sense. What's the ROI on 400K? I think, don't quote me, I think we're running about 20%. I think, don't quote me, 20% gross ROI on 400K. And ROI is a bit of a weird one because you can't really do it on revenue. You could do margin on revenue, but you want to do ROI on cost of goods. But yeah, I think the ROI is at 20%. Don't quote me. I'll tell you at the end of the year, or when I know. Can you please tell the pros and cons? Okay, last question, I'm going to finish up. Can you please tell the pros and cons between using Amex credit card or using Amazon loan to finance the Amazon wholesale business? Amazon wholesale. Well, if you're doing wholesale, you're not going to be able to use Amex credit because wholesalers won't accept Amex. Like, they just won't happen. I promise you that. Or if they do, they'll charge you so many fees that it'll discredit. So I would use an Amazon loan. Long story short, if you're doing arbitrage, basically you think about it, you just have a big pot of money. You want to convert that money into stock, which you shift to Amazon, and then you sell, and then you get the money out again and keep repeating. That's all you're doing. Now, an Amex credit card is just a process of converting that money from the bank to stock, i.e. it's a payment card, and you get cash back. Fantastic. Amazon loan just gives you more like fuel in the fire. You know, you think about it like this is like money to play with. It just gives you more money. So we definitely use both. Obviously, have a cost. You need to make sure you're profitable. It's leverage. If you're not profitable and you're doing it wrong, you will leverage wrong. If you're doing it right, you're going to leverage correctly and make profit. But if you're losing money and you now get a loan, you're going to lose more money because you're scaling a problem. But coming back to your point very directly, if you're doing wholesale, you won't be able to use an Amex credit card. But the Amazon loan will help you as long as you're making more money than the cost of interest, and then quite a bit more on top of that. It'll be fun. But I hope that makes sense. Right, guys, that is it. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I'm going to love you and leave you. No live next week. I will catch up with you in 2 weeks' time. And obviously we'll go resume back to normal. But I will be back in Mexico in 2 weeks. Everyone, take care, stay safe, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.